do you have a self that you see yourself as in the future? Like, projected, or are you mostly that version? And there's a few things that you want to add to be able to finish your, to finish whatever purpose work you have left or whatever work you need. So the way that you kind of want to think about it is like, okay, we're healing our trauma. So it's like, who am I now? I'm looking at, okay, in the past 2 lessons, what we learned is like, how do we work with the universe? And how do we start to move in unison with the universe? And then we learn, okay, if we talked to the ancestors last week and we asked them, okay, can you point out some things for us, or can you give us some lessons? And we threw some things in the ancestral fire. So now we're saying, who am I now versus the person that I see myself being in the future? And you can put like future goals for yourself. So like if you have some future goals that you feel like right now where you're at, you can't reach up and grab that result, or you can't reach up and grab that benefit with just a little bit extra effort, that's a future goal. It's going to take you longer to achieve that goal than maybe say like 6 months, right? Mm-hmm. So in order to manifest that goal, you're going to have to say, okay, what does the me in that place right now have that I don't have right now? What did they do? What did they say? What did they think? You know, who are they? And then we're going to say, okay, so I'll give you guys an example. So who am I now? Right now, me, Lauren, I am a practicing alchemist, right? And so I channel and I do readings. Who is the future Lauren that I see myself being, right? I see myself being someone known for speaking and teaching people and being able to be in a different, be in a higher place than where I am now. Like I'm at the beginning of that, but I see the vision of that and what the results are, what my lifestyle will be like, and what I'll be able to do with that elevation. Like, what is the lifestyle around those goals? So if there's something that you see yourself doing, like for example, do you see yourself getting a new location and being able to reach more people and being able to hold larger classes or being able to have a bigger space? If that's the idea that you have, that might take more than 6 months, especially with the climate right now, right? So what you want to do is you want to start thinking, so if I were to have a bigger building, if I were to have a better building and a better location, what does my business and who do I need to be in order to achieve that? Because it takes personal growth to go past a glass ceiling in a business. So we have to say, okay, so if we want to go from here to there, what is it that needs to be, do I need to have a certain reservoir of money? Do I need to just be able to be looking for locations consistently? Do I need to be waiting for when the climate of the financial situation is right? So is that just fully alignment and I have everything? Mm-hmm. I'm prepared. I just need something to fall in my lap. Then if that's the case, you would have to just say, okay, Spirit, I'm ready. So right now I am the person that I need to be, or I am as close as I can be. Can you show me how to be this person, my future self, the person that I want to be, right, to get this goal? So you may not see it right now, but a version of you may be like, okay, I come to the shop for the classes, but I also like to do, like, there might be things that you feel like you can't do right now that would be nice. Like, and you want to kind of fix this in. Like, what is the goal? What is the lifestyle around that goal, right? Mm-hmm. What are the things that you wish you didn't have to do right now, but need to be done in order for that goal to be completed? That's what's going to be in the result of that goal. So then you have to keep your mind around that. Like, okay, for example, for me, I know I want to farm and I want to adopt kids. So my kids, my future home is all in alignment with me stepping into a higher place in my purpose. So on the way there, I'm going to hit all of the minor goals I have with the lifestyle that attains that goal. Okay? So, and the way that we kind of define number one is to, you know, what has led me to become who I am now? And does what I've learned so far, what that I've learned so far is blocking me, right? Mm-hmm. What is blocking you that you've learned so far? Some things are coping mechanisms. Some things are like, okay, I need to learn a little bit more about this. And this is where number 3 comes in. So what don't I like about myself at this time? Or what are my weaknesses versus my strengths, right? So you can skip number 1, answer 2 through 5. By the time you get to 5, you'll have the answer to number 1. Because you'll see, okay, these are the weaknesses that aren't getting me to this goal. They're not getting me to this goal. There are things blocking me, right? Let me push it back so you can see. So that strength right there, what are your strengths? Because you're going to have to play toward your strengths. You don't really want to worry about your weaknesses, but you want to know what they are so that you can have somebody cover the base, right? Because maybe right now you're like, oh, my bases are covered. But there are some things that are a little bit too strenuous for you, and you're ready to relinquish those. You just don't know that yet until you write it down. You're like, oh, I need someone to fill that in, or I need to figure out a way to make this thing that's my weakness easier. So say, for example, one of my perceived weaknesses is that I overdo it. Like, it's a strength, but it's also a weakness, because if I overdo it too much, then I'm burnt out and then I can't be consistent. But that also falls into my other weakness, which is procrastination. So it's like a funnel that creates a cycle. So like, okay, if I want to make sure that procrastination is never triggered, I know here, I need to know that my perceived weakness here is that I need to make sure that I don't get overwhelmed, that I stop when I need to stop, and I need to take care of myself. So now I'm putting in what will help this weakness be less of a weakness and more of a stepping stone, right? Because now I'm taking care of myself just a little bit. I'm taking care of myself a little bit more. I'm having more compassion for what I can actually do versus what perceivably I'm like, I could just bulldoze through all of those tasks and then I will be perfect and I will have the perfect result and then I'll be able to move on to step 2. But realistically, I'm not going to be able to do all of those things in step 1 in a week or 2 weeks. Some of them are going to hit resistance because they rub against my resistance, right? They rub against that and it hurts because it's like, ooh, that doesn't feel good. Why doesn't that feel good? Well, I'm kind of weak in this area. I don't know exactly why. So then we come down here. What are some of your core wounds that you've identified, right? Because your weaknesses and your strengths are related to your core wounds, okay? You have received your strengths because of how you healthily coped, or not healthy at some point, with these core wounds. Now you're able to flip these strengths to be a positive, but these weaknesses never were able to be flipped into a strength, right? Okay. So they're keeping you from, understanding what this is. So for example, procrastination for me is the weakness, but the core wound associated with that was that it doesn't matter whether I succeed or when, I am a failure anyway. The core wound was being a failure because my mom didn't acknowledge my wins. She always beat down on all the negatives that I had. So I can't even celebrate the wins. So that comes off the core wound, and then it's like, okay, so my perceived weakness is procrastination, and procrastination stems from anxiety of being overwhelmed. Oh, you see that? Yeah. And then I'm able to cut off the feeding of the core wound by addressing the weakness. The core wound no longer gets fed by this weakness. So then it says, what doors am I not currently opening? So now you're able to see, okay, so where am I trying to go that I currently don't have access to? Specifically, like if it's you having financial freedom, you having more money, if there's a certain goal of that, is there a certain lifestyle, is there a certain idea that's a vision in your mind, and you're like, I have it, kind of, but I want it to be more elaborate. I want it to be I want it to be more of what I see in my mind, the vision that God has given me. How do I make that come to fruition? It comes to fruition through a door. And right now, what you're missing is the key. The door is there. For the most part, the door is usually right in front of us because we're at the glass ceiling. We know it's there. We know that the path that leads past that door is our goal, right? So what we need to do is identify what core wound is holding us from that goal. We address the core wound by addressing the weakness, right? And then we then come back here. What has led me to who I've become? Because this is going to identify the situation that created the core wound. Right?
Okay.
So it's like, okay, me having to backtrack back to that moment where my mom kept saying like, oh, you didn't do this and you didn't do this. And even though you got an A in this class and you're really excited because you've never had an A in this particular subject, it doesn't matter because you have a C in this class. And so this doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Just to bring it down to like something everybody's kind of experienced, like now we have, okay, so that experience had led me to believe that it doesn't matter. If I'm not perfect all the way around the board, then my achievements don't matter. So then the question is, what's stopping me from becoming my future self? Perfectionism. Oh, okay. And I need to be able to love myself enough to care enough about myself. And in order to care enough about myself, I have to do the things that make me more consistent without bulldozing through everything in my life. I need to have a steady pace, a steady rhythm, a steady moving through without overdoing it. Because if I overdo it, I get anxiety. And that stimulates the weakness, which feeds the core wound, which then I lose my opportunity to get the key. Okay? The key right here is going to be your future self. Once you have identified, sorry guys. Once you have identified who your future self is, there's no reason why you can't become them. There is no reason, because so let me bring it back to like an idea in quantum physics, right? So in quantum physics, there's this idea that one particle can go to the other side of the universe and they can still communicate, right? And the idea of that is that they're really not that far apart. They're really right here. But the way that quantum works, you know what I mean? Things are very close together, but in our perception, things are far apart. So they're able to communicate and they're also connected. So, and all of you have your own particles, right? When you identify the future self that is associated with the goal, you then send a quantum particle out to the destination and they create a set point for you. So now you have the key. The key is there. So now you have the opportunity to get to the goal because now your future self now exists. They exist fully because you've imagined them, you've created them in your mind. And how do things start to manifest? They manifest first with thought. So we're going to manifest with this thought. Then we're going to understand who this person is. How do they think? How do they move? How do they handle their emotions? How do they react to certain emotional triggers? Do they react to these triggers? Maybe not, because we've healed them on the way, right? So what do I need to do to heal those things that are standing in my way? Those are going to be more keys to open more doors that'll get you to your goal, right? So this is like kind of a big concept, but I want you to try to just if you figure out what the goal is, then it'll be easier for you to break this down, right? So what is a goal that you're working toward? Somebody want to?
Well, I'm working on my weight, okay, because of my health, and because I'm diabetic. It was interesting when you said that because when I was going to my other therapist, she gave me a drug, and one of the side effects was it could trigger diabetes. And she was really upset for me. And I said, no, I think it would have happened anyway. But I continued to try to work on it. And then I finally stumbled on a diet that I could use and live with. And so I was able to cut down my medicine by half, metformin. And so what I've decided to do is to just keep working at it and, you know, be consistent, because she's a nurse practitioner, but she's kind of into herbs and all this stuff. And so she said, if you keep going and keep losing, I mean, not get too small, but healthy, then she said maybe you'll be able to completely come off. Because she said you can control diabetes through diet. Very much
can.
so. So that's what I guess my goal is to be off of my diabetic medication.
Okay, so your future goal is to be a healthy individual. Right? So then when we say what has led me, you already know, right? The medicine. And then down here, your perceived weakness is your diet, basically. Of getting your diet together and making sure that it's consistent. Your strengths are that you've really fortified your will to be able to go on some of these other diets to figure out what's really working. You're also lacking in some nutritional knowledge that you need here in order to serve that. The core wound here is probably going to not be, say, for example, like something emotional. It'll be something genetic. So instead of this, it'll be a genetic trigger.
Yeah, because there's other diabetics in the family.
Exactly. And so now we're asking, what door do you want to open? Because there's a door associated with this goal right now. So what that goal might be is like saying, I need more nutritional knowledge. That's my weakness. So how can I get this understanding so that I can have the key to understand how I can get to my future self? You might want to talk to a nutritionist, right? And so then I would go to a nutritionist and say, hey, I want to get a meal plan that's like the one I have, but creates a more alkaline state in my body with a lot of antioxidants. Antioxidants are what actually heal the body. So and then it's going to also help to replicate mitochondria in the cell. The more mitochondria you have, the more energy your body's producing to then heal the body, right? So when you go on an alkaline diet, that's going to be the main thing right there. That's going to be your main thing, is that you don't have enough ATP in your system to go in and repair certain things, right? To get rid of cells that aren't replicating correctly. And then, so now we have that core wound. Now we're understanding, how do I turn this dream switch off, right? And that's just being consistent. You have to be consistent and get you a diet that works, and to basically stay on it. So now you have the key. Okay, I need more information. Now, say for example, you couldn't go to a nutritionist. You can watch a lot of information. Like, to be honest with you, I have a lot of information at home. I could give you on that, but like, you could get a lot of information on nutrition, and you can swap out certain foods. Like, say for example,
I kind of do that, but I know what you're saying. Like, one thing I read is if you want an alkaline, drink water but put lemon in it, and it will help your body be. So I started putting lemon in my tea. I don't want sugar. I put a little bit of lemon in my tea. So I thought, because I like drinking tea, sugar-free tea, so maybe that'll help me get there.
Yeah, and then like, say for example, like when you eat a salad, what's the lettuce that you use?
Straight lettuce.
Just romaine lettuce?
Yeah.
So romaine lettuce has a pH of +3 on a chart from 1 to 5.
Oh, okay.
And -1 to -5, that's going to be a pH of 3. But if you were to use, say for example, kale or arugula or something like that, that's a pH of 4. So then you would just have a little bit more nutrients inside of that. If you were to add microgreens to that salad, that'd be another 4. So now your meal is at a pH of 8. Do you know what I'm saying? So you would want, basically, I'm gonna give you the little thing, but you would want to add up the highest amount of alkaline foods into your meal as possible, so that you can get as alkaline as possible, right? in each meal. Every meal that you get, now not every meal has to be like the most alkaline or the best to eat, but you want to overall be eating an alkaline meal that's going to help your body recover sooner and faster, right?
Okay.
So, did you want to share or? I know I just put you in the spot. It's okay. It's okay.
We're trying to get a house. But I guess that's a goal.
Okay, so when you look at your house, right, you're like, what does a house look like?
I already know. It's 4-bedroom, 2-bath. Has a big yard because there's gonna be a pool in there. Oh yeah.
Okay. Is there a style of home you like the most?
Ranch style.
Ranch. Okay. Does it have a porch? Does it have a balcony, or is it? Well, it's a ranch, so it has a patio.
Yep.
Okay. And then you said it has a pool. Okay. And then, what does your kitchen look like?
That's what we're gonna do. I'm not gonna spend much time.
Fire, definitely. I don't know.
Okay. So kitchen's not the big thing. So what's the big thing? Would you like a bigger bathroom?
Yes.
So if you're looking at, okay, I want a big bathroom, big closet type of situation. So then you say, okay, so what is the general price of this home, right? So how much money do I need to make in order to afford that home?
I already know.
So what is it?
I had to have 16,000.
16,000 to buy the home?
To put it down, yeah.
To put it down. Okay. And then how much money would you have to make every month to maintain that home? Do you know?
Yeah. But it's not gonna just be myself.
But that's okay. That's okay. This is just arbitrarily thinking it through, right? So like, let's say that with the amount of money that you're gonna put down, your payment would be what?
They said between 8 and a little over 1,000.
Okay, so we're 800 to 1,000, right? So then your goal is to create a lifestyle. So whatever this number is, you're gonna need to quadruple it for your living expenses, right?
Right.
So like, this is 8,000. So 8 times 4 is, right? And then
No, 8 times 4
8
is
times
32.
4 is 32. Sorry, guys.
I was looking at
Okay,
that.
as long as everybody pays attention. Okay, so then we're gonna do 4 times 1,000. Wait,
That's 4,000.
that's 4,000. That doesn't
was
make
an
sense. So let's do 40, because I added some zeros. Okay, so this would be what you would need to make a year to maintain the lifestyle associated with that home. Now, it doesn't mean you got to be here when you make the home, but this is your goal lifestyle, right? So when you get here, what is associated with that home? You know, you have the pool costs, right? You have the cost of putting food in the house. You have the cost of the bills. And if you have cable, or if you just have internet, then you have subscriptions to stuff to watch, right? So what we're doing here is, okay, if this is going to lead me to my house, right? What do I need to know here? Maybe I need to understand a little bit more about financial intelligence, right? I need to increase my financial intelligence, because once I get this money right here in this home, I'm sorry, the marker's running out. I got another one. Wait.
We got some here too if you need them.
So
Get the red one out, because she's going to be in the red for a while. When you buy a house, you're in the red for a while, I'm telling you.
So this right here,
Yes, that's true.
right? You have your goal for your home, but then there's also, where was I going with that? So you have your financial intelligence here. Once you've gotten this home, right, you're going to want to learn what are the best investments. I'm sorry, my writing's terrible. So what are the investments for my home, right? What can I put in my home that's going to increase its value, But
the pool definitely increases.
The pool is definitely, it's going to be, keep up the pool for sure. And then depending on, say for example, depending on where you get your home, right? Where's your home sitting? That could, right now, you could be getting, when you get that home, it's going to increase in value anyway, depending on its location, right? So then you're going to be like, okay, what investments over the years, and once I have this amount of money, could I put into my home? That's going to increase its value. That's going to increase my equity. Not only that, but what can I do in the home, right?
Yeah, like replace the roof,
right,
that kind of stuff.
And how would I think? I'll give you an example. I used to live in Lithonia, and it's not the hoodest place in the world, right? It's not the poorest place in the world, but it was not the best place to be having a kid in the middle of the night, people shooting guns at 4 a.m., right? Mm-hmm. And so it would scare me. So the way that I thought was fear. I was in a fear-based mentality, right? Mm-hmm. When I moved here, it's quiet. I could walk outside my house at 4:30 in the morning and look out. There is no sound. The most I'll get is like a really soft rumble because I live like 6 houses down from the street. But even being, huh?
You live around here?
I live off the road, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like I live like 6 houses down from Austell Road. So Austell Road's there, 6 houses that way. So it's like it's a small.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's pretty decent. I used to live right up on the road, and it was loud all night. So I have this sense of peace now, right? I can see the fireflies in my backyard. I'm like, oh, yes, this is awesome. I feel connected to nature. I talk to the trees that are close to my house. We have a good relationship, okay? And they help me think things through. They were like, I don't think that you should do this project on a house right now. You need to focus on whatever A, B, and C is. I'm going to put this down. Okay, so then what can you do? What will this house and the lifestyle that comes with it afford for you to do? So say, for example, like there are things right now that you want to do. That you want to do for yourself, that you want to do to just go have fun, but you can't do those things, right? Because you're focused here and on the goal, right? So what are those things? And I'll give you an example. For me, I wanted to be free from the feeling of being in an oppressed place where I could not focus on my health. I had to be on a hustle, go, go, go mentality all the time. And if I wasn't, I was broke. And I was like, well, how do I break out of being broke? How do I break out of being in constant fear, right? And the answer to that was I had to heal myself of the core wound. So then when I figured out what that core wound was, which for you might be, okay, I know how to do finances, but what is it that I need to understand about getting into this home and how do I want to approach it, right? So say, for example, you want to get into your home, but you ultimately want to have a debt-free life, right? Mm-hmm. And you want things to be like, I could live and I don't have to worry about bills. You know what I mean? And if ultimately that's something that makes you feel good, no worries, right? Mm-hmm. Then what you would have to do is understand, okay, this is now you need to know about your future self. Who are you now? How much money do you make? Right? How much do you save? What is your saving and investment plan for procreating the money that you receive?
See, I know all about the financial thing.
Yeah.
That's not my problem.
Okay.
The problem is, how is that attached to the core issue here?
Okay.
Wound?
So what do you think the problem is that is keeping you from where you want to be? Because whatever is the weakness is going to show you where the core wound is.
Okay.
It'll be like a domino effect. If it doesn't come to you now, that's okay. It'll come. And when it comes, You'll know exactly what it is.
You said the core wound is what again?
The core wound is something that has happened to you in the past.
No, I know that.
Oh,
but when you said something just a few minutes ago, you said core wound,
The core wound right here.
Mm-hmm. With the financial part of it, you said
So,
and it kind of clicked a little bit. But I can't remember. You just
so if you have the financial, right, you would be like, okay, so what are all the thought patterns that I need, right? But the core wound would be the belief about the finances, right? The weakness right here would be how that shows up in your life. So like, say for example, if we're just gonna keep going off the example, right? If I had a weakness of self-sabotage, and I also had a weakness of like I knew exactly what to do with my money, but then I overspent. So then it doesn't matter what my plan was. I don't now have the money that I need. So I'm in a little bit of lack. I might not have spent all my money, but I'm up short, right? The core wound here is that there's never enough. And there's something that happened in the past somewhere. It doesn't have to be a childhood wound, and it doesn't have to be a teen wound. Y'all are a little bit older, so it could have been like an early 20s wound. Right?
Oh, okay.
That wound could have came from a marriage, a relationship, a situation in your life where you started to realize I don't have enough. And because I don't have
you said marriage, and that just cut it because that was my first marriage. I was like, I was struggling in that, and so that's for that. So I got to heal that. Okay.
But once that core wound is healed, right, this right here will become a strength because you can flip it on its head. Right? There's never enough. So when this is healed, there's always enough, and the universe is always providing for me. And you can believe that without thinking that it's bullshit. Now you are on your way to becoming that future self. Okay. You're on the way to living this and not being in this and struggling. Sometimes you can make it to the goal, but the lifestyle of the goal never comes to fruition because the core wound was never healed. Right? So that's why I say, what does this future self, you have to visualize the future you. Because if you just figure out what the goal is, the future you cannot maintain it. Right?
Oh, okay.
Because you never said, this is who I am. Anything that you pair with I am comes to fruition. That is you feeding into the vortex of your future self. So when you say, I am wealthy, I am a homeowner, I am financially, mentally, and emotionally stable and thriving in my purposed work. Now you're saying, I am this future person right now. So what I'm trying to show you guys is, once you have identified the future person, the lifestyle, it becomes easy to then speak as if you are this person, to work and move in the world as if you were this person. Even if the people around you don't believe it, who cares what they think? They're not manifesting it, you are, right? So in order for you to do it, and y'all, for 2 years, I called myself the Alchemical Oracle for 2 years, and people were just like, this girl has went mad. What does that even mean, right? But I don't care. I'm like, yo, I'm going to be an alchemist. I'm going to be someone who understands how the universe works so that I can always create the future self that I want to be, and I can get where I need to be because the keys are always consistently falling in my lap because I know how to find the core wound. I know how to heal it, flip my weakness into a strength by working on my thoughts, right? We learned in the first class, my thoughts, my feelings, or your emotions, your thoughts, emotions, what you say, and your actions create the manifestation. Thoughts, feelings, actions, and words are how you speak to God. God hears you in that conjunction and says yes.
Okay, thoughts, feelings,
words, and action. Words are actions, but you need to put like some physicality behind it. So I separate them.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Because some people are all talk, no bark. So you gotta, no bite. So you gotta, differentiate that. But so what you're gonna start with to manifest this future person is I'm gonna have y'all go home and do this. But to do this, you need to create you're going to write down a day. I want you to journal about your first day in this goal. What does that feel like? How, like if you were writing a letter to God and you're like, oh my God, like, you are fucking amazing. I can't even believe that I got my house, that my finances are right, that I'm able to drive my car without any issues. I don't have worries about my bills being paid. All of my stuff is set up. Everything is coming in quickly. And it's like every time that I need something, it's like you just drop it in my lap and I am just so well taken care of because the universe is constantly providing for me because there is never too much. The pie expands as I ask for it, so I receive it, right?
Okay.
So that's where we're at right now. So I hope that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Okay. So if it's okay if it's not feasible to write it, to have the answers today, but it does give you a lot to think about, get your gears turning. And look, these questions you can ask for literally any goal. Literally any goal that you have, you can ask these questions. Who am I now versus who I want to be? And what's your future goal for yourself? What has led me to become who I am now? What don't I like about myself at this time, my weaknesses and strengths? And then what are some core wounds that I have identified? And 5 is, what is the door I'm currently looking to open? This is going to help you set your short-term goals right here.
Okay.
This 5. What are the doors I'm currently looking to open? So say, for example, your door might be a good realtor, right? That's not trying to take maybe a whole 3% or whatever the percentage is for a realtor. You want to try to get that down as much as possible. It's going to lower your costs, right? And if you could find somebody, say, for example, who was selling their home, sell home by owner, there's no cost on their side. So when you purchase this home, it's less on the purchase price, right?
That's
so
true. Yeah.
Just like little things like that. I know you probably already have a thing in mind, but this is just like examples. So these are kind of like the doors that you could possibly want to open, right? Maybe also like your doors, like finding a place that's going to fully finance your mortgage or whatever. So that's going to be a door and you need the key. So for example, like when we were buying our house that's down the street from here, like my partner, he had, it's so crazy because he had songs that were selling 1 million copies.
Wow.
Every month. But we could not prove our income.
You couldn't what?
We couldn't prove our income because with songs, the income comes in so slow from a song. Okay. So say like if I release a song today, it goes viral for a year. I may not see that cost back until 6 months to a year and a half later.
Wow.
Right? So I can't prove the amount of money that I'm getting. I can only prove maybe the 10,000 that they gave us when they purchased the beat. So that 10,000 doesn't qualify me for the home. It doesn't qualify me for the goal. I need more money for the year to qualify me for that goal, and we didn't have it. So we had to wait. We were so upset. And then when we finally were able, because he signed a deal, right? He signed a deal, so he got literally 3 years of income at one time. Now we have more than enough money. They were trying to give us more money than we needed. Get a bigger house. We are okay. Okay, we gotta live. So now we have the money for the home. Now we found the perfect home, right? So then you have to figure out, how do you maintain that? But that was one of our biggest problems, was the key to how do we show that we're financially stable, right? And then it was in the middle of COVID. That was like, wow. That was awful, y'all. So
yeah, we were gonna move here. We decided not to. We decided because we were gonna move from here during COVID. Oh yeah. Oh, we decided not to do that.
Yeah, like it probably would have gotten y'all a good price on the lease, but other than that, it would have been kind of rough. Yeah, because nobody was going to stores. But just like that, you know what I'm saying? So every time that you see the opportunity to go to your goal, there's a key, right? So for a long time, maybe for the last 3 months, I've been looking for the door, right? I've been looking for the door for my next level. And I did my healing modality. I received the door, but I didn't have the key, right? And Ms. Norma offered me the key. And that actually helped me to have enough confidence to go do other things that were inside the door that go to my goal. It had nothing to do with her, but she gave me the opportunity. She gave me the key. So now I could open the door. And sometimes you'll meet people and they'll give you the information, they'll give you the key, but then you have to open the door and you have to do whatever is necessary behind the door to get to your goal, right? So that is basically where we're at. And this right here is going to allow you to create the alchemical process of separation, right? Separation is where we take apart the last things that are holding us from being our purest self. And that's what these 3 things are right there. Your strengths right here need to be seen in a more positive light because it came from the core wound, right? So me overworking is a strength, but it's also a trigger for my weakness. So for me, what I had to do was I had to say, okay, my strength is my work ethic, but now I need to balance it out so it can stay a strength and it doesn't trigger a weakness, right? So everything that we've talked about today, it's gonna be so easy after this. You'll be like, oh, that was the thing. And then after that, you're going to start seeing little things. And for you, because we talked about this, not last week, but the week before, that you weren't asking for enough. Now you have an idea of how much to ask. You say, hey, I want this or more. Right? And let me tell you something. Whatever you have in your karmic bank account, you can withdraw. And I know you don't believe your karmic. So all the good deeds.
Explain that.
So your bank account is essentially, what about all the good stuff that you've done throughout your life? That the things that you did for no money, the things that you did even though people didn't have it, the things sometimes you got a message and you gave it to somebody, you don't know what kind of effect that gave. That's good. That's good energy right there.
All the time.
Right?
Yep.
And then if you don't know.
And then what happens but you don't know that you could have it. You don't know that that energy is out there.
Like there was a situation like 2 weeks ago, and I told the universe, I said, if this doesn't happen, all the stuff I've done good for people, we're gonna have a problem. Especially my guardian angel and I are gonna have a deep discussion. You're not gonna like what I have to say. But yeah, so I
see what you're saying. Yeah, that makes sense.
I do withdraw from that.
And so when you say I want a big goal, you say, hey, I want to make a big withdrawal. But not only that. This goal is going to help me deposit so much more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Right.
My chariot has arrived, but thank you for tonight. I'm going to find a Chinese doctor because the conventional one can't find anything wrong with me.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Hey, that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I won't have to wait for my chariot anymore.
Miss Norma, when I go and talk to the... Hold on real quick. When I talk to...
Let me see what y'all talking about over here.
Tomorrow.
There's like 7 people in here. What's up, y'all? Oh, some of were filtered to protect community experience. Hey, Bree, how are you? What's up, y'all? So right now we're at class. I decided to stream it just for fun. Okay. So, y'all. So basically, I brought my tarot cards, and we're gonna draw a couple cards to kind of help you guys.
Is that still on?
Figure some stuff out.
Yeah.
Yes, but I'm.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm not letting my stuff roll.
It's okay. We're not going to do it out loud. But I wanted to, because we're probably, I think, what time is it now? It's 8:30.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to give you to take home.
Okay. 2?
Yep.
Oh.
You get 2.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So what?
So these are offerings you can burn to your ancestors.
Oh,
Okay.
you could one in each or 2 in each, or does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
Oh.
So basically what you can do is, as you figure out what it is that this future goal self, right? Once you figure out who this future self is, script it. Do y'all know what scripting is?
Writing it down?
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Writing it down as if it already is, which is basically what I told y'all to do when I said, what is the first
You're
day of
speaking in,
receiving
like,
your
now.
goal?
Right.
And
Like,
you're going to talk about how this goal has changed your life and what now you can do in your life because of this goal, right?
Okay.
Because you fully defined it now. So you can say, oh, I'm making such and such amount of money a year. I have this type of car. I have this type of these type of clients. I have this consistency. Whatever it is that you need, that you feel like you need like you're going to get in addition to accomplishing your goal. Like for you, it's going to be more freedom because you have that health. You have your health all the way together. And then it's like, I can do more, and maybe you might still have to watch your sugar intake, but it won't be as intense, right? Because you'll have it in a different way. So in this, so then that way you can really create whatever it is that you want. But look, when you give this definition of the future self, script it. Rewrite what you script, because you need to know what you scripted so you can look back at it later when you get to the goal. But rewrite this.
Right.
Burn it with the ancestor money.
Okay.
Burn the brick.
I've done that
now,
before.
hold on. I need the people on here to see. This is a brick. Y'all can get these on Amazon. Okay. We're going to talk about this on Thursday. But you can burn this with the ancestor money, or you can burn the brick with this scripted version of your reality with the goal. Okay. And then what that's going to do, that's not only going to empower your ancestors, but that's also going to give fuel behind what you're asking for.
It's got 999 on it.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
69.
Hey, okay. So essentially now, what I want y'all to know is that the universal principles that we learned in the first week, right?
Yeah.
What this is law of perpetual change, right?
Okay.
Law of perpetual change was everything is constantly evolving, right? So then the second law that goes with this is law of vibration, okay? Everything has a vibration, but now we are putting law of vibration, law of compensation, and law of attraction together, because now we know who we are now, who we want to be, and we know our future self, so we know what the goal is. Everything is defined. So now we're saying, Spirit, I'm ready to be transformed into this person so that I can have this. And because I want to have this, I am now vibrating at the frequency of this while I'm still who I am now. They're just sitting there.
No, they're bringing in.
No, that's Larry.
That's Larry. They're bringing in stuff too.
Recording?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm on live, so y'all could just come in.
You don't want to? No, we're gonna be bringing some stuff in, so I don't want to bother class.
So basically that's what you're gonna be able to do with this. So, and then every goal that you have. So if it's another goal that you have, you can just
go through these questions.
Use the questions and help them identify the future self. Once you have the future self, you can then access your key. You then make an offering and do it. It's the same thing as like doing spell work. You can even, honestly, you can even do this with spell work. You can do this one day. Like say for example, like yours is home and finances. So you could do one on Thursday on the Jupiter day, right? Then you can do another one on maybe, I think, what is it, Sunday?
Yes,
Saturday. So then you would do Thursday and Saturday, right? And then that will help you get the goal that you want, and you will be consistent about it. And you can also do the timing, like
correspondence,
like like magical timing. Sometimes, like say for example, like you want to do it on Thursday, but you want the Saturn. Saturn has a specific time, so you could do it on Thursday at the Saturn time. I'm gonna have to send you that page because I don't know it enough. But you find in a lot of ceremonial magic books where you have like your time of day with the planetary hours, and you can use planetary hours to start the work at a specific time. So say like you had that day off, or you know that, like say for example, y'all open at 1, right? So like you have that whole morning of the magical hour to use it.
Yes.
And magical hours start at sunrise. So you can go all the way to 12 before it starts over at 12 for the rest of the day. So, okay. Okay. How y'all feel?
I feel good.
Yeah, I say wonderful. Thank
Okay,
you.
cool. I'm gonna.
I always
slide.
wondered what this was, and I put that
What's
out
up,
there
y'all?
that I wanted to know. So here I'm getting my answer.
Okay.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna see y'all on Thursday. Okay. Bye.
Sorry.